As the first light of day touched the British Columbia coastline, the air was crisp and tinged with salt, a gentle reminder of the ocean's endless mysteries. The sky glowed with soft pinks and oranges, casting an enchanting light over the mist-shrouded shore. But this peaceful morning was suddenly shattered by a chilling, urgent cry that echoed through the fog, a sound heavy with desperation and sorrow. It wasn't the familiar call of a seabird or the bark of a sea lion. This was something far more profound, a plea for help that demanded attention. There on the jagged rocks, a young orca, soon to be known as Springer, was stranded, her powerful form caught by the retreating tide. A creature built for the open sea, now helpless and exposed. Meant to roam the vast ocean, she now lay vulnerable, her skin drying quickly beneath the intensifying sun, her survival hanging by a thread. Every breath was a battle, a testament to her determination. Her calls rang out, a search for her missing family, a desperate hope that someone would answer. Orcas are deeply social and intelligent, and Springer's loneliness was unmistakable, a stark contrast to the lively world she once shared with her pod. Her tail, once a symbol of power and elegance, now lay still, a silent witness to her struggle. Her eyes, a mix of fear and longing, scanned the shore for any sign of hope. The tide kept slipping away, leaving her increasingly exposed and vulnerable, her life teetering on the edge as the water retreated. With every passing minute the danger grew, dehydration and internal injuries looming as the sun climbed higher, its heat unrelenting. Once the ocean's sovereign, she now lay defenseless, her fate uncertain. As her mournful calls faded into the mist, she became a haunting symbol of nature's vulnerability. The morning was calm along the wild coastline, a day that seemed untouched and serene. A man, accompanied by his faithful dog, strolled along the cliffs, savoring the salty air and the steady rhythm of waves below. But suddenly, his peaceful routine was shattered by eerie, unfamiliar cries drifting across the rocks, sounds that clearly didn't belong to the wind or seabirds. Compelled by a mix of worry and curiosity, he traced the source of the cries, carefully making his way toward a rocky outcrop that reached into the sea, his dog never far behind. To his astonishment, he found a massive orca stranded on the jagged rocks, a majestic ocean dweller, now powerless and clearly suffering. He'd glimpsed orcas before, always from a boat, watching them glide through the water with grace. But never had he been this close, and never had he seen one so exposed, so defenseless against the harsh shoreline. The orca's heavy, strained breaths, and the gentle, mournful sounds she made struck him to the core, filling him with a desperate sense of urgency. He understood the risks of getting close to such a powerful animal, especially one in pain and distress. Yet, the thought of simply walking away was unbearable. Watching the orca struggle, he knew this was far beyond what he could handle alone. What was needed now wasn't just bravery, but real expertise, and quickly. Backing away, adrenaline surging, he fumbled for his phone and called the local marine mammal rescue hotline, his voice urgent as he described the dire situation. Every moment felt precious. The orca's plaintive calls seemed to reach out to him, as if she sensed her fate now rested with the humans who had found her. In that instant he realized he was her only hope, the first in a chain of people who might just be able to save her. Overwhelmed by the urgency, he didn't hesitate. He gave clear directions, described the orca's condition, and pleaded for immediate assistance, setting the rescue effort in motion. Now, the orca's survival depended on the swift arrival of strangers, people he'd never met but who shared his hope for a miracle. As the first light of dawn crept over the sea, hope began to rise. It would take teamwork, determination, and a bit of luck to solve this extraordinary challenge and offer the orca a second chance at life. The urgent call set off an immediate reaction at the Marine Rescue Center. This was far from a routine mission. Rescuing a stranded orca demanded a skilled, unified team. Volunteers, scientists, and veterinarians sprang into action, collecting hoses, pumps, and stretchers. The clock was ticking, with the tide rising and little time to spare. Word traveled fast. Soon, concerned locals lined the shore, watching the rescue unfold. The orca's pain was unmistakable, drawing the community together in shared worry. Their first mission: keep her skin cool and moist. Volunteers quickly formed a line, passing buckets of seawater to gently bathe her. Soft words and careful touches eased her distress, her cries growing quieter as comfort took hold. Slowly, a delicate trust emerged between the orca and her rescuers. In that moment of crisis, an extraordinary connection began to form. The rescue team hurried, fully aware that the orca's fate hinged on the incoming tide. Out of the water, her own body pressed dangerously on her organs. Every second was critical. A veterinarian kept a close watch. She was drained, but her will to survive was clear. The team's spirits lifted as they witnessed her determination. Buckets gave way to pumps, and wet blankets were carefully placed to protect her from the harsh sun. Volunteers moved with purpose amid the organized chaos, each person playing a vital role. From the shore, the community rallied, offering encouragement and much-needed supplies. It was a powerful moment of unity and compassion, everyone united by a common goal. The orca's chance at survival rested on their unwavering teamwork and determination. This was a battle against the tide, against time, and against losing hope. Beneath the blazing sun, the rescuers labored with unwavering dedication as their connection with Springer grew stronger. She observed them, her breaths becoming more relaxed while the cool water refreshed her skin. A volunteer noticed a tear-like secretion from her eyes, a poignant sight, even if not actual tears. The team's gentle touches and soft words seemed to bring her comfort. Orcas are social creatures. The rescuers became her temporary family. The wet blankets offered more than just protection. They were symbols of hope and compassion. Springer's trust in her human allies was a precious gift, driving them to overcome their fatigue. Every act of care deepened their bond, making the mission deeply personal. The team was resolute in their commitment to not let her down. Their kindness was a vow, they would see her through. The hours stretched on, but their determination never faltered. The blanket of kindness enveloped Springer in both comfort and hope. As the tide shifted, the sense of urgency surged once more. The riskiest stage of the rescue was underway. The incoming tide brought powerful currents. Springer, drained and vulnerable, needed careful guidance to avoid harm. The team set up an inflatable pontoon and a soft stretcher, prepared for any scenario. Marine biologists, veterinarians, fishermen, and volunteers collaborated seamlessly, united by a shared mission. Their communication was calm and precise, maintaining a peaceful environment for Springer. As the water crept higher, she began to move, her instincts reawakening. The team stood by, prepared to help, but hoping she'd find her strength to swim away. Their job was to clear a safe passage, not to push her, but to guide. Teamwork had carried them to this point. Now the next step was up to Springer. The decisive moment had finally arrived. As the tide crept higher, Springer was gently lifted, the pressure on her body easing. The rescue team stood by, anxious, watching as she tried to find her bearings among the rocks. Seasoned rescuers stepped into the water, creating a human pathway. Carefully, they guided her with gentle hands, steering her away from the rocky hazards and toward safety. The trust between Springer and her rescuers was unmistakable in these moments. When one final rock blocked her way, she paused, until the team gave a united, gentle push. With that, Springer slipped past the barrier and glided into the open sea, finally free. She floated for a moment, then took a deep breath and flicked her tail, sending water sparkling into the air. Cheers erupted from the shore as she swam, circling back with her dorsal fin cutting through the waves. It seemed like a farewell, a gesture of gratitude before she turned toward the vast ocean. The rescuers, drenched and weary, watched as she faded into the distance. Waves of relief and happiness swept over the crowd on shore. Springer was finally on her way home. As Springer slipped away into the open sea, a deep hush fell over the shoreline. Those who had gathered stood in quiet awe, their hearts filled with relief and happiness as the first rays of morning danced across the water. Nature itself seemed to pause in tribute to this remarkable moment. The rescue team, now forever connected by this unforgettable journey, embraced in joy. Their achievement was more than just saving one orca. It was proof of the extraordinary things people can accomplish when united by a shared purpose. Word of the rescue spread rapidly, touching hearts across the globe. Social media lit up with stories and images, and headlines praised the team's commitment, inspiring many to care more deeply about the ocean's inhabitants. Springer had been identified as a young orphan, separated from her family by vast distances. Her mysterious journey and remarkable strength captivated everyone involved in her story. But the rescue was only the start. After months of dedicated rehabilitation, Springer was carefully returned to her native waters. In a moving and historic release, she found her way back to her family pod, defying the odds and reuniting with her kin. Springer's journey quickly became a symbol of hope for conservationists everywhere. Her successful reunion proved that even the toughest challenges can be overcome when people refuse to give up. The rescue left a lasting mark on the local community, strengthening their bond with the sea and its creatures. Both young and old found new inspiration to protect the marine world around them. Many volunteers continued their efforts, driven by the impact of what they had accomplished together. The rescue ignited ongoing conservation work, drawing new supporters to the cause each year. Springer flourished in her natural home, later seen swimming with her pod and even raising calves of her own. Her story lived on in every new generation. Her survival was a powerful testament to compassion, teamwork, and unwavering resolve, a shining example of what's possible when people come together for a greater good. The memory of her rescue endures, treasured by all who played a part. It stands as a lasting symbol that miracles can happen when hope is matched with action. That final splash was not a goodbye but the start of a new journey for both Springer and her rescuers, a story of hope, unity, and the unbreakable connection between people and the wild.